Could a simple tropical leaf hold compounds that scientists are actively studying for their potential role in supporting health? The answer may surprise you. Welcome to the channel.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving deep into a seriously fascinating intersection of ancient, traditional wisdom and cutting-edge modern science. We're going to unpack Ronald Beckford's comprehensive guide, The Healing Potential of Papaya Leaves. Our goal here? To completely demystify the biology of cancer, replacing that fear with solid knowledge, and carefully explore the scientifically grounded potential of this incredible tropical plant as a complementary supportive therapy. So, let's just jump right in.
Great, before we get lost in all of the cellular science, we absolutely have to acknowledge the human element here. Because behind every single diagnosis is a real human being. The emotional weight of cancer, it's not just an isolated medical event. It's like an earthquake. It impacts the entire family unit, workplaces, whole communities. Behind every medical chart is a person with hopes, fears, and of course people who love them deeply.
Section 1. The reality of cancer. Understanding the biology. To really navigate the fear surrounding this disease, our absolute best tool is understanding it.
So let's zoom in on the overarching biology for a second. Your body is this miraculous, complex structure made up of something like 37 trillion individual cells. And in a healthy state, these cells follow a really strict set of rules. They grow, they divide, they do their specific jobs, and eventually they just die off when they're old or damaged. But cancer? Well, cancer begins when a healthy cell's DNA, which is basically its internal instruction manual, gets damaged. The mutated cell suddenly breaks all the normal rules. It stops listening to those instructions and just starts dividing uncontrollably.
Think of your body like a well-managed city, right? Everyone follows the traffic laws, the building codes. Cancer cells act like total rule breakers in this city. They completely ignore the regulations. They keep expanding their territory. They even stimulate new blood vessels to steal nutrients for themselves. And they somehow figure out sneaky ways to hide from the police, which in this case is your immune system. Eventually, they can break away entirely and spread to disrupt other healthy tissues, a process you've probably heard of called metastasis.
Section 2. Anecdote versus science. Finding the evidence. Now, let's pivot to a story that actually shifted the spotlight onto a potential natural ally against all this. The story goes that back in the 1960s, an Australian man named Stan Shelton was diagnosed with advanced lung cancer. The wild part? He reportedly experienced a remarkable recovery after drinking a traditional Aboriginal tea made from fresh papaya leaves. It's an incredible story, right? It gives you a ton of hope. But okay, here's where we have to be super careful. While an anecdotal recovery gives us a great reason to be curious, we have to contrast that single personal story with the rigorous, repeatable steps of modern evidence-based medicine. I mean, a single garden might yield a fantastic crop of mangoes one year, but that doesn't guarantee every garden will. Science demands repeatable, measurable clinical trials to figure out exactly how and if something truly works.
Section 3. The Amazing Papaya Tree, a Botanical Specimen. And this brings us right to the subject of all that scientific curiosity.
Let's look really closely at the Carica papaya tree, because this isn't just a plant that gives us a delicious breakfast fruit. It's a botanical specimen that has literally been utilized in traditional medicine across tropical regions, from Jamaica all the way to Indonesia for generations. And it's incredibly versatile. Almost every single part of the papaya holds unique nutritional value. The sweet pulp is just packed with vitamins A and C. The milky white latex contains a really powerful enzyme called papain, even those small spicy black seeds. They're rich in fiber and beneficial antioxidants. But if we want to find the real scientific treasure here, we actually need to look at the leaves.
Section 4. Nature's Factory. Chemical Defenses. Let's get microscopic for a minute. If we zoom in on those large, umbrella-like green leaves, we can see exactly how they act as highly complex chemical factories. To really grasp this, you just have to remember one basic fact of plant life. Plants cannot run away. If a bug attacks them, or if the sun is just way too hot, or a fungus invades, they can't just pick up their roots, move to the shade, or swat the bug away. So, instead of running, they manufacture these remarkable protective compounds called phytochemicals. This is the plant's very own, highly evolved defense system.
The plant cell basically acts like an automated factory, churning out a powerful orchestra of chemical compounds, things like flavonoids and alkaloids. And what really excites scientists about this is that the very chemicals the plant uses to defend itself against environmental stress seem to profoundly interact with human biology when we consume them. It's kind of like the plant is sharing its own chemical armor with us.
Section 5. Quercetin and camphorol, star flavonoids. Within this massive chemical orchestra, there are definitely a few standout performers.
We're going to focus on two specific star flavonoids found abundantly in papaya leaves that are currently drawing major scientific interest in labs all around the world. The first is quercetin, and the second is camphorol. Now, to understand why these matter, you have to understand oxidative stress. Imagine leaving a bicycle out in the rain for years, right? Eventually, it rusts. Well, during normal metabolism, our cells produce these unstable molecules called free radicals. If too many of those accumulate, our internal cells begin to sort of rust, taking damage to their DNA and membranes. This is where quercetin and camphorol come in. They act as incredibly powerful antioxidants. They step in, neutralize those excess free radicals, and effectively stop that cellular rusting right in its tracks.
But wait, that's not all they do. Remember how we said earlier that cancer cells are total rule breakers? Well, one of the main rules they break involves a process called apoptosis. This is a natural programmed self-destruct sequence. Think of it as cellular quality control. If a healthy cell gets too damaged, it politely shuts itself down so it doesn't harm the rest of the body. Cancer cells maliciously evade this self-destruct program. Interestingly enough, laboratory studies actually suggest that the flavonoids in papaya leaves might help re-encourage this natural self-destruct program inside experimental cancer models. They literally help flip that switch back on.
So the really crucial takeaway here is that these specific compounds are not just rare, isolated chemicals cooked up in a lab somewhere. They're widely accessible. They're part of a broad, healthy diet and found in so many colorful fruits and vegetables. We're talking apples, red onions, berries, kale, broccoli, and of course papaya leaves. Eating a rich, varied diet means you're naturally consuming a complex orchestra of these protective plant compounds every single day.
Section 6. Hope rooted in wisdom, integrative wellness. Let's bring all this molecular biology back out of the microscope. Back to you.
How does this apply to the reality of the cancer journey today? Well, because of all this exciting lab data, we have to ask the ultimate question. It's literally the question that patients, caregivers, and families searching the internet are all wondering. Is this plant actually a cure for cancer?
The definitive, evidence-based scientific truth is no. Current human clinical evidence absolutely does not show that papaya leaves cure cancer. It is so incredibly important not to abandon proven medical treatments for an internet rumor. However, that doesn't mean they're useless. Quite the opposite, actually. It is a biologically fascinating plant that's totally worthy of serious clinical study, and when used correctly, it serves as a highly promising, supportive, complementary strategy to help manage overall wellness.
When we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you can really see how natural products like papaya leaves fit in. Whether it's consumed traditionally as a leaf tea to support digestion or taken for its antioxidant protection, natural products are best used responsibly. And this is key. They must be used in strict partnership with your oncology team to ensure they don't interact negatively with your primary treatments. It's all about harmony, not replacement.
And that really brings us to the heart of the matter. Hope always grows strongest when it's deeply rooted in evidence and wisdom. So as science continues to unravel the mysteries of nature's chemical factories, how will you embrace this integrative approach? How can you combine the rigorous, proven best of modern medical evidence with the ancient, powerful nutritional wisdom of plants, like the papaya tree, to support your overall wellness moving forward? It is a journey of learning, for sure, and I truly hope this explainer has given you the tools to take that next step with confidence.